our next guest here is Charlie Mohn. He's the Vice President of Product at Drivewyze. And let's see what Drivewyze is up to these days. Welcome to the show, Charlie.
Hi, nice to see you guys today.
Good to see you, too. Can you give our audience kind of a brief description of Drivewyze and what you guys do?
Yeah, you bet. So Drivewyze is a leader in the connected truck space. We're best known for operating the largest public-private way station bypass network in North America. And we partner with over 40 of the leading ELD and telematics companies that are out there. So our services are integrated in-cab in over 2.5 million trucks. We've gone beyond kind of that core way station bypass service, and over the last few years we've really doubled down on offering safety solutions as well for trucking companies. And we've also started to kind of dabble in a lot of other connected truck projects where this access to 2.5 million trucks across many ELD providers really opens up a lot of opportunities for optimizing freight movement.
So, yeah, you're a well-connected person, well-connected business. What are you seeing? What have you been experiencing or observing in the marketplace since the pandemic? Because I imagine your visibility into the trucking industry is pretty unique, and just curious to hear what your observations have been so far.
Yeah, I mean, we are certainly not experts on the freight side itself, but kind of sitting back and looking at freight moving across, our network. I mean, certainly last year was interesting. We scrambled just as COVID hit, as for example, as roads shut down, as rest areas shut down. We scrambled to help get the word out to drivers around what rest areas were closed and help them, find better routes, to get to their destination. As things have kind of started to get a little bit more back to normal, certainly we see a pretty big, a lot of pressure, more and more pressure on keeping drivers, finding the right drivers, keeping them safe on the road, and helping them, save time as much as they can, getting from point A to point B. So our, think about just the way station bypass service. Really, the main value prop there is we help drivers avoid getting pulled into a weigh scale, which can save tons of time. So those minutes add up, and we've seen a lot more interest in our service because every minute counts on the road.
Hey, Charlie, let's talk a little bit about real world examples like speeding and how hazard warnings and kind of safety protocols can reduce those.
Great question. So yeah, we launched a new product last year. We call it Safety Plus, and what it is, it's really a proactive coaching tool for trucking companies to alert drivers about risky areas across the country, and that's both curated locations where we curate locations like high rollover zones where there's no accident history, but we've also introduced alerts for areas where there's a lot of citations happening. So we've seen a lot of success with this. This is deployed across the United States. We've have some of the largest carriers out there using our service, and the drivers that are getting these alerts, we warn them basically, some real simple alert in the cab, remind them to follow the speed limit in some of these hot spots, and it works. They're slowing down. Overall, we're seeing about 25% of the time drivers who are getting these alerts are going slower, which means fewer citations, but also ultimately means fewer accidents on the road as well.
Yeah, one thing that keeps coming up in the current marketplace is demand. Trucks are in demand. There's a lot of demand, and the way my mind thinks is when there's a ton of demand like that, there's also a ton of pressure. And I imagine that truck drivers today are under a tremendous amount of pressure. There's a lot of people saying, how quickly can you get here? Where's my stuff? What's going on? What are you offering, or how are you helping these drivers kind of manage that pressure, manage that feeling like they're under the thumb of the industry, so to speak, with everything that's going on?
What's interesting is, there's millions of truckers out there that are experienced and seasoned and really know the roads inside and out. Our service certainly helps remind them. We get great feedback from those professional drivers who've been in the industry for a long time that our service is a great kind of reminder on how to drive safely. But what we see a lot of trucking companies really interested in is how can they help new drivers, as the driver shortage is like one of the top issues. We're seeing coming from studies from the trucking companies. How can you get new drivers, and typically they're younger drivers and who don't maybe know the road network as well. That pressure for driving safely and driving quickly there's a learning curve there. So that our service kind of helps, especially those new drivers where they may not know, exactly where the kind of hot spots are for speeding, or they may not know that certain, curves, even though there's a rollover sign on the road, they may not know that, those particular curves are especially, unsafe. So that's where we see. You got to find that trucking companies have to find that right balance of safety and efficiency, and if you can do it in a way that just helps drivers kind of do that automatically in the cab without having to have someone in the back office yelling down their throat, that's even better. That's really where we're focused.
Yeah, Charlie, when it comes to insurance costs, I know those are skyrocketing around trucking. Typically, what do you see on insurance cost savings with platforms like Drivewyze?
Yeah, it's hard to put a number on it, but exactly. But the numbers are skyrocketing, especially for smaller carriers where they're not self-insured. It's harder to get insurance. So having a good CSA score is extremely important. And the way to do that is get good inspections, which our service helps provide. The other, I think we actually partner. We're starting to partner with insurance brokers who are offering our service to their clients as a tool to help them, prevent accidents, but also just to have proof that that they're doing the right thing, that they have good safety policies, in play. Especially as we've seen nuclear verdicts become really, really huge in the industry. It's every trucking company's got to really be proactive about how they look at safety as a more comprehensive thing to keep insurance costs down, as well as just stay in business.
Exactly. Couldn't say it better. Thank you so much for your time today, Charlie. It's been a pleasure. And you can go out and reach out and learn more about Drivewyze at drivewyze.com. Again, thank you for joining us here for a segment here at F3 Live.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.